Hey guys, welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast. And the NFL offseason is in full swing. Our Buffalo Bills are making some moves, going to be making some more moves. We got some roster decisions to make. We got some potential landing spots for a couple of key name defensive players, maybe some wide receivers, and the offseason is in full swing. Are we, trusting Joe Brady and the regime to get this done and to get this team to the promised land? So we are going to talk about it today, break it all down. And as always, I am Mike, joined by Mr. T. Reese and Mr. Sean O'Neill. And fellas, the 2026 season is ready to go. So how are we feeling so far?
Well, it's been pretty much a whirlwind, hasn't it? I mean, Joe Brady. I'm wondering how Joe Brady feels right now. That's primarily what I want to bring you guys on. And I want to ask this question: how do you guys feel so far as to what you've seen out of Joe Brady? Now, he's just the current most interesting signing he had outside of the Jim Leonard and bringing in Carmichael. He just brought John Fox in.
That's that was my question is, did he bring John Fox in, or is that a Brandon Beane thing?
No, no, no. He said it in his press conference. He wanted some,
Okay.
he needed some people with he needed a mix of people who been there before and some new stuff. And he's doing a really crazy mixing of people, man. I mean, he's got some people on the staff who some have never coached, some of them are straight from college, some of them have coached in the league before. So he's got a nice mix going on. But as far as you guys, how do you guys feel about what you've seen out of him? And we'll start with the coaching staff.
So I like the John Fox bringing in. I think that it brings experience to this coaching staff, especially because I believe he won what, two Super Bowls, right?
Mhm.
Like that's the experience that will be huge for this team, especially with a rookie head coach. And I also really like the fact that he's assembling a what appears to be a pretty diverse with qualifications across the board for this coaching staff. So I'm impressed so far as the building of the team around him on the coaching side of things.
I do really like the Jim Leonard hire a lot. I think that the way Jim Leonard seems to want to coach defense and the aggressive nature that he seems to go with, I think will fit the personnel on this team a little bit better. And I'm hoping that, they bring in some players accordingly. We'll get into some of the wish list players and some of the ones that are out there, right? Like I know that dude from the Raiders is out there. They were talking about, and then the guy from Cincinnati as well. Names are escaping me right now for some Hendrickson, and then who's the
And
one for the Raiders, the
and
big name one?
Max
Yeah,
Crosby.
yeah, Max Crosby. So those two names are out there. Frankly, I would prefer Hendrickson. But that could be a lot of fun on the defensive side of the ball, especially like if he's really, really hyper aggressive and can find a way to get the quarterback on the ground, right? Because we've been saying that for a while, not just us on this channel, but everywhere, right? Like the Bills like just can't get the quarterback on the ground. And we really need to be better at that. Our front four really, like, you watched Seattle in the Super Bowl, right? Like, your MVP, Drake May could not get the ball anywhere because Seattle was getting there with their front four, right? Like, you got to be able to do that. And I'm hoping that if they're going to be super hyper aggressive and they go out and get a guy like Hendrickson, that they'll be able to do that.
So if Jim Leonard can figure out how to translate like pressures into sacks, that'll be huge because the Bills had a decent amount of pressures last season. They just weren't finishing the job. And that I think is the big part as far as the front four go, is they need to figure out why they couldn't finish the job. I know T's boy there, Rousseau, can maybe he'll have a second
Gregory
coming
R.
here. But it doesn't, correct me if I'm wrong here because I might be, but Leonard runs the opposite style of defense than what McDermott had them running, correct?
Yeah,
It is
because I
not.
believe McDermott is more, how should I say, more secondary driven for his defense, and for Leonard, it's more the front seven is
Yeah.
that's where it's driven from. So that's definitely two completely different styles of defense.
And I think the big thing is if that front four can get pressures and sacks, it will force I think it'll not even force, I think it'll automatically make the secondary better because it's going to force that quarterback to make bad throws, which, I mean, our secondary has proven that they can intercept the ball. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a few players in the defensive backfield that probably won't fit this system. Taron Johnson, I'm looking at you, but I think that it'll be interesting to see how they put this together.
Yeah. What about you, Reese?
Well, I mean, there's nothing I can complain about. I mean, the interesting thing is the hire of John Fox, because he's hired as a senior assistant coach.
Hmm.
So he's not like he's obviously in the, as far as the chain of command, he's in one of the decision-making roles. He doesn't have an identified job though. So I'm thinking he's going to be more of how do they say in the Mafia, the consigliere, right? He's the he's
right
the
hand man.
I think overall. I think just that his playoff knowledge, experience, he's coached for a long time. He's had, he's been to the playoffs several times, been to the Super Bowl. I don't think it gets. I'll be honest with you, it's probably a better hire than they had than McD had with Leslie Frazier.
Yeah, and that was a good hire.
Yeah, that was a good hire. And this is almost similar to what McD did, right? He's bringing in somebody with some experience. Because I was thinking about that. Like, is he going to bring another, like a former head coach? And I thought it was going to be, what's this boy? What's his name? He used to be in Carolina, got fired, and he went to Washington.
Riverboat Ron?
Yes, right.
Oh, Ron Rivera.
That's who I thought it was going to be. He was going to bring him in because I know his name was circulating as far to come back in the league. So I was wondering if that was going to be the name he was going to throw out there, which I'd have been like, no, no, we're good. But yeah, I mean, I can't be mad. I mean, we're going to definitely see. My big thing was changing that defensive line coach.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, actually, what we'll find out is it McD and his style of defense is what holds that front line back, or is it the assistant coach who, in my opinion, hasn't really produced much out of that defensive line of anybody they've drafted. I mean, Rousseau's okay. He's a mid-tier, solid defensive end. I mean, you're not going to get anything, glorious out of him. Once in a while, he'll have a splash play here and there. He's just a solid guy on the other side. And then the question is going to be who's going to go on the other side of him. Now, they can probably use Hoyt in the same way that McD used him, where they kind of use him as this guy who kind of floats around, picks spots, controls the quarterback in the pocket and things like that. But they're going to have to bring another defensive end in. I'll be honest with you, Mike, you said that you liked
Hendrickson.
I'm a Max Crosby fan. That guy's motor, his motor is just as good as Will Anderson and what's his face down there in Houston. He does not stop. He keeps going. Whistle blows.
I like him too, but I don't like the contract that's going to come with him.
Well, the weird thing is, I can't remember who was I listening to. And they said that it actually is manageable because you just restructure it as soon as he comes. And you could shed $10 million right off.
Didn't he just?
He's absolutely going to move, right?
Huh?
He's going to move, right? Like he's absolutely going to move.
That's what everybody's saying.
He wants out.
I think he just doesn't want to go through another rebuild.
Well, he doesn't have a quarterback, I think, is a lot of it. And they just haven't had no success.
I mean, they're gonna draft that kid who's like generational talent, Mendoza, but
I don't know.
It's still a rebuild.
Talent. I mean,
it's still a rebuild, though.
I think he's the best quarterback of this draft right now, but I wouldn't call him a generational talent.
So I don't remember exactly what happened either, but something happened at the end of the season with Crosby, and that had really set him off too. I think they benched him like with 2 games or something left in the season, and he was not happy about not being able to play.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was 2 or maybe it was 1 game, the last game of the season.
They were trying to lose. Like they were actively trying to lose.
So he wasn't too thrilled with the fact that they sat him down like that. And then I think didn't they say they were? I can't remember what the exact verbiage was they said and the reason why they benched him. But I mean, I get it. I mean, I
to
get
avoid
it.
injuries.
And then I mean, the other thing is that it makes it look like to the media that you're benching him because you're going to trade him possibly, or you're benching just to make sure he doesn't get hurt, or you're benching him just because. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we all know the Raiders make weird decisions no matter who's
Yeah.
running the organization. Vegas is a very strange place to begin with.
As far as the defensive line goes, what does Ed Oliver's contract look like?
It's a big contract. I mean,
Yeah,
they
I mean,
can
moving
they
on
can
from him.
restructure him if they want to move some money, but
Yep.
he's still got a few years left on his deal, and I wouldn't be surprised if they want to keep him on the team if they kick some of that money down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I have to imagine if he's got a few years that they're going to have to restructure him.
Well, he's the top three, my understanding, to be restructured would be Josh, Dion, and him.
And Dawson Knox.
And Dawson Knox. But you got to hope Dawson Knox wants to take a pay cut is what you need from him.
He might have to. He might not have a choice.
Because he still has another year on his deal.
You don't think that they would be willing to trade Oliver, do you?
I wouldn't trade him. Why would we trade him?
I'm just saying, if anything comes up for any potential trades, do you think they'd be willing to trade someone like him?
No, I wouldn't trade him. You can't make a hole in another spot. You got holes all over the place right now, and that'd be just another hole you got to fill.
My only concern with Oliver is just the injuries. I mean, everything that happened last year was almost inexcusable.
There's not much you can do about that, though. Unfortunately, he's locked into his contract right now, and it's not like he doesn't perform when he's on the field. It's just that
he's got to be on the field.
I agree with you 100%, but at this point with his contract, and there's no way, and you can't afford to put another hole in that defense.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true.
Well, on the flip side of that, I know we did some re-signings. I don't know if you guys paid attention to a lot of them, but interesting enough, what did y'all think about them re-signing Mecole Hardman back?
I would have rather they kept Cooks.
Futures contract, I believe it is, right?
Yeah,
what does that mean? Does that just mean like practice squad depth?
Maybe.
Yeah, just given the choice, I think I would have rather kept Cooks than Hardman. I think Cooks as a voice of a veteran player would be worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
The Hardman one, that I really don't understand very much. But I also don't quite understand, like Mike just said, what exactly a futures contract means.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's some of them are 1-year deals. I mean, you're figuring what? You're bringing Hartman back. Devonshire's another name you're bringing back, looks like. Broker they're bringing back. I mean, you need depth for I know for practice squad, but it's going to be interesting to see. I'm going to be honest with you. I think within the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a big trade.
I think so, too. I really do think so, too.
I heard something interesting, just some people online talking about it, and I was curious what you guys would think. Keon Coleman and this year's first round pick and a later round next year, I believe it was, to Arizona for Marvin Harrison Jr.
Wait, say that one more time.
Keon Coleman, this year's first and a later round pick next year for Marvin Harrison Jr.
Do you think Arizona would do that? I mean, Arizona's going to dump Kyler Murray, so maybe, but
they're doing a whole nother rebuild there.
I got to step away for a second. We're back.
A new coach.
Right, but a new coach, I don't know if he wants to give up without having a quarterback at first.
The people that I was listening to were talking about the fact that they would want more picks so they could build around what they wanted to do. Would you do that? It lets you get Coleman out, and it gets you
I don't think he's proven enough to be worth a player and a first. Let's put it that way. I don't think he's worth enough to do a player and 2 picks.
Okay.
I just don't. He hasn't proven anything yet. He's had a couple of splash plays since he's came in the league, but We don't know what this kid can do yet. And you're kind of still paying. You'd be giving up a first for another unknown. I'd rather give up first for somebody that's actually a proven commodity than someone who hasn't proven anything yet. Just in my,
it was just something I heard a couple people talking about, so I was curious what your thoughts on something like that would be.
yeah, I mean, just in my opinion, I wouldn't jump on it just because of, like I said, he's just not. He's still unproven commodity. If I'm gonna give up first, I'd rather give it up for Justin Jefferson than getting given up for him.
That was going to actually be my next question: is if you were giving up a first for whoever's going to be out there, who do you think we could get for that?
I don't know, because I mean, some of these receivers that we're looking at right now, you might be giving up more than a first.
Because is Jefferson officially a free agent?
No, he's not. He's still under contract.
Okay, because I don't even know that Minnesota's going to want to trade him, because I heard that they were trying to figure out someone to replace McCarthy with, because McCarthy doesn't want to be there anymore. Because Justin Jefferson went on a bunch of podcasts over like the last week and was trash talking McCarthy.
Not really.
Did he really? He really did that?
Not
That's
really.
what I heard.
It wasn't all like that. He said, because people were questioning about his stats this year. I mean, that's year going to be defensive.
I heard it was.
You go from one year being the number one wide receiver in the league to next year being nowhere near the top 10.
Yeah, I know. I took him in every fantasy league I had. Don't remind me.
Yeah.
No, but you know what, the one though, I don't know if you guys mentioned this, so I stepped away for a second, but the one that I'm hearing linked to the Bills is AJ Brown. I'm hearing that everywhere. Everybody's talking about AJ Brown coming here. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that seems like it's going to be. I mean, he's going to be moved, right? Like, he is absolutely going to be moved. And I know he's aging a little bit, but he's a million times better than anything on this roster now. I just don't know if I want the diva of a player.
Yeah, I'm with
Divas.
Well, it's not even that too. I mean, I think he's not a wide receiver. I don't think he's gonna be the same guy within the next couple of seasons. Because he's not that type of receiver. That type of receiver doesn't really, those big bodied receivers, they end up becoming just the traveling the big bodied after at the end of towards the ladder. Look at him right now. He'll be going on to his third team.
That's what they like, though. That's what the Bills like. They like those big-bodied wide receivers.
No,
that's why I think that's why there's so much, there's so much fire. There's so much smoke to that fire because he fits this team a lot.
Would he be able to get separation? Because that's all I care about.
Well, I mean,
he's very good. He's very good. He's very, very good. I don't know if I want the diva, right? Like, I don't know if he doesn't get the ball thrown to him and he's tweeting about Josh. Like, I don't need that shit on my team.
There's not a number one receiver out there that you're not going to get it out of. Look at Justin Jefferson right now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but you don't hear about it as much.
Top receivers are divas. Most of them are.
I mean, I loved your Marvin Harrison idea, Sean. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I just told him
a good point too.
I didn't think it was worth a first, a player, and I don't think it was worth a player and 2 picks.
Yeah, maybe a player and 1 pick, but I mean,
and definitely not.
Yeah. I just don't know if I don't know what Arizona's going to attempt to do though, right? I mean, it'd be cool to get him, but they're not going to move a player like that on a rookie deal. Like, I mean, if he were not on a rookie deal, it would be one thing, but they're paying him peanuts right now. You know what I mean? So you got him for a couple more years on a rookie deal. Like, if he was making a max contract, I could see it, but
that's why I think it would take that higher pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just again, he's an unproven commodity. I would not give up a first when I can possibly get it for another receiver that's proven.
Yeah.
And for all we know,
what did you
too?
So what were you saying about McCarthy though? Is that are they thinking he's just not going to be the quarterback in Minnesota next year?
The talk is that he wants out because of what's going on. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard I saw it on a couple different people talking about it.
And see, the thing is, he has no power currently.
No, other than throwing a temper tantrum. But
that's what I'm saying.
Honestly,
happen.
I mean, last year isn't even 100% on him because he was out injured a bunch too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then in the grand scheme of things, they ended 8-9. Like, I mean, if he was playing the whole season and everything kind of worked out a little bit better, they could have won that division. I mean, the Packers, weren't that far ahead of them. So
Well, that's why I think it's a pipe dream. I don't think Minnesota's trading him. Wouldn't make any sense right now for them. I understand his frustrations, but for them, it wouldn't make any sense because I mean, they're going to probably find a quarterback. That's all they're missing right now is a quarterback. They're going to probably find one. They just need they got a pretty good defense. So I mean, and their offense is fairly quarterback friendly. So I can probably more likely see you know someone getting traded there.
Watch Kyler Murray go there.
he's gonna go to the Jets.
Don't the Jets have whatchamacallit signed for another couple of years?
Who Fields?
Yeah.
I don't think that matters.
I don't think they care. I mean, look at Denver.
Yeah.
We have Russ Wilson just sitting on the bench collecting $50 million for rookie quarterback plays. I mean, there's nothing. I don't think teams care.
Yeah, but I bet Denver would have wished they had Russell Wilson still when Knicks went down.
I don't think he would have made a difference.
No.
Really he's terrible. He is terrible.
Reese,
There's just no.
Reese, I wanna ask you something. The when they do restructures on contracts, because you're kind of the expert on this, when they do restructures in contracts, they can convert salary to signing bonus, right? So why is there a cap on that, or can a team do as much as they want of that to free up space?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you reaching out to me as some sort of a connoisseur of contracts. I appreciate
Well,
that.
you know this shit way more than us two jokers do. I could tell you about Randy Orton's contract, but I couldn't tell you the first thing about a Buffalo Bills contract.
I believe there is a cap. So, and then a lot of it just um it just depends on how far down the road you want to kick the can, so to speak. Because I mean, eventually that guaranteed money has to be paid at some point. So I mean, it can build up in the end, but that's why you only do it with players that are part of this team is going to be here for a while. It's tough to do restructures, and that's kind of what Beane's got himself trapped into. He kept restructuring some of these guys. I mean, Taron Johnson is going to be a question now. We don't know what his contract's going to. Are they going to keep him? Or are they going to try and restructure him or give him a pay cut or something? Because I don't even know where he fits in this defense right now, just because of his injuries.
He's going to be gone.
Yeah, there's only so much you'll be. A lot of it has to do with how far down the road you're going to kick the can.
But I guess like take Josh, right? Like Josh is set to get, it says here, 56.5 million next year, right? But they could convert his salary, some of his salary, a portion of it, into a signing bonus. So I guess my point is, why not just give him like $30 million in signing bonus and save all of that money? Like,
Yeah.
unless there's a ceiling on that, because like obviously, who cares if you give Josh a big signing bonus, right? I mean, I would give Josh the entire thing as a signing bonus, but like, I'm just wondering if like there's a limit to that.
Yeah, there is
I
a
have
limit.
to imagine.
Otherwise, most teams would just, the richest owners would just pay off the contract of their quarterbacks and just go ahead and just use that money to buy new players every year. So yeah, there is a ceiling and a cap. What that percentage is I don't know exactly. But I more or less listen to people who are a lot smarter than me, and that's how I learn. So
There's not a lot of those.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe there is a cap because otherwise, I mean, you'd have a free for all. You imagine Dallas? Can you imagine Dallas?
Yeah.
It's true.
They'd buy every single player, just put full paid salary right at the start of the season, and they'd have all this salary, this salary cap money to spend. No.
Yeah.
I mean, they were probably still.
Yeah. Two other ones I wanted to quickly talk about too. One who will very likely receive a restructure, Spencer Brown. who is making a lot, 19.4 guaranteed for next year. So I would not be surprised if they convert a bunch of that too, just to free up a bunch of space there. But you know who is definitely not going to be on the team next year, and it's going to probably save $7 million? Sean, wide receiver, who's not going to be on the team next year, who costs $7 million.
Curtis Samuel.
Yep, he's gone. He's
The biggest
gone.
mistake of like the last several years. That that contract, the sooner they can get rid of that shit, the better.
Well, I'm more or less afraid of Brady because that's a Brady guy. And I'm hoping that he does the right thing of moving on from him. But I got a feeling that he's going to treat him like he's been treating Keon Coleman, thinking he can fix him.
But the thing is with him, the money's done. Like the contract is over with him. So that would have to be a re-sign. So the only way you bring him back is if it's for a fraction of what you paid him last time. Like, I mean, you go because with the injuries and everything, I'm like, dude, you go on a $1 million prove it deal if you want to come back here.
With like incentives.
Yeah. Yeah. You get 1,000 yards, then you get another $1 million or something like that. But I mean, yeah.
Honestly, that was my problem with Curtis Samuel was the lack of time on the field. Like you're paying him all this money, and the guy out of the time. I mean, how many years was he here?
2024.
So
yeah,
two.
Been here a couple of seasons.
What did he play? 4 games.
But the weird thing with him is that he's always been an injury-prone player his entire career, and that's what annoys me with the Bills. They like that, and that's my complaint about Beane. That money ball stuff. He's trying to get this player who he thinks, I can sign him at this deal. Nobody's looking at him in the league right now, and maybe I'll get something out of him. But he signs these 3-year deals with guys who never pan out, and it's getting. I mean, that's part of the reason why the salary cap got kind of jacked up right now, especially going into last year. So I think that this had to happen. McD and all that, they had to do a change.
One of the things I heard, and I wanted to ask you guys about this, and I think it would make an interesting thought experiment. One of the things I heard on some podcast I was listening to was a lot of teams, like especially Seattle, right? Because every year when the team that wins the Super Bowl, right, like they kind of are the quote unquote blueprint, right, of what to follow to try and win the Super Bowl. And the thing that's very interesting about Seattle is they've drafted very well, right? Like they've drafted very well. They've got a lot of players on cheap deals, so they can be good for a couple more years until till the bill comes due for those players, and then a bunch of those players are probably going to go elsewhere. So the thought experiment is on the Buffalo Bills, besides Josh, how many players are playing, in your opinion, above what they're getting paid?
James Cook.
Like who are we getting a deal? Like who is actually a deal on this team for what they're getting paid? I'll go first and say, besides Josh, Cole Bishop.
Yeah.
Cole Bishop is absolutely doing producing way more than he's getting paid. But can you name how many others can you name? I can think of maybe 2 more, but you know what I mean?
Shakir.
Yeah, but you're getting him at a good deal. He's not overplaying his contract at all. He's doing.
I think he's worth more. That's what I mean, though. Than he's getting paid.
I don't know. He hasn't really, as far as wide receivers paid based off of their stats. He hasn't had the stats to demand 25, 30 million.
Yeah.
He's good for what the Bills do.
The only other one on the offense is Dalton Kincaid, but that's just because he's on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with any of those.
But I mean, that's my point, right? Like that, and that right there proves, right? Because we can hardly come up with anything. That right there proves drafting is a problem on this team. Drafting is a big problem on this team. And that points to the GM.
Well, interesting enough, I've never heard anything about Bean making any changes to his staff.
Nope.
You know what I mean? I'm questioning the scouts. I mean, you're bringing in some of these guys who just have not panned out to anything. And then again, it could be, Bean wants them to go to those, those mid-tier schools and scout guys because they know that we're going to be drafting late in the rounds and stuff like that. So maybe he's going to have a change of pace, but I thought that you might have heard some sort of changes with the scouting department because they hasn't been really a whole lot produced out of the drafts. I mean, Don Kincaid's been a pick, but he can't stay on the field. I mean, other than that, I mean, who are you going to name is really, I mean, but Rousseau was the last one, and he's just
Okay. Yeah.
So I have a question. And I mean, how often do you hear though when a team makes changes on that side of the ball though? Like you do generally hear when teams make scouting changes, that kind of stuff? Because I'm trying to think back to like the news.
here in Buffalo. You do. Um, I mean, I wouldn't say so much in, I don't know, maybe Chicago or New York City, one of the bigger cities, but here we pay attention to everything.
Yeah, you're not gonna know when other teams do things like that. I mean, your point, right? Like, would you know if like the Detroit Lions did that, if they completely overturned their scouting staff? Would you know, or would you care? You know what I mean? So
Well,
there's
I
part of
mean, the
that
Bills
too.
announced they got rid of their uh, conditioning coach last year. The head guy, they announced it. So this city does. They announce every move they make, and I'm very interested in hearing what if he made any changes to the scouting staff, or is were they just going off of his direction on where to go? Because remember, they
My
rarely ever drafted from big schools. Any powerhouses they rarely drafted from.
my
Which is
other
odd.
question is, as far as drafting goes, is the how much did McDermott have to say in the draft itself?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's my
We're
point.
never
Like
gonna never gonna know that.
we
Hmm.
might though. If they come out and they draft differently this year, like if it does if because we should be able to tell. Like we saw the way that they've drafted in the past. If they come out and they draft completely differently, we'll know that maybe that's what was going on.
I don't know. I don't want to say that because I mean it could be either one of the decisions. You won't know. I mean, if he just pivots and does a different style of scouting and drafting, I don't know if that's McD or if that's Bean. You can't really tell.
Yeah. I just I worry more about just the way they draft and like what they're thinking when they draft, right? Because like they thought Keon Coleman was going to be a good idea. And you know what I mean? And they look at there's a lot of guys they brought in since Josh has been here, right? Like Kyer Elam, you know,
Mhm.
like there's so many first Boogie Basham, you know, so many
Hey,
first
buddy.
and second round picks that are like, where are they? Half of them aren't, most of them aren't even on the team anymore, you know? So I don't know.
Well, they spent a lot of time, again, that's just why they get late round picks turning out for them because, you know, that's what they look for. That's exactly what they look for. They don't get anything like Espinoza. Like who had him on even on their radar the year they drafted him? And I know he was a second round pick because we didn't have the first because of the Diggs trade. But who?
Yeah, I forgot that he was that early of a pick.
Yeah. And you really got nothing out of it. So, the first one and two picks are, haven't been great. But once you get, around that, I would say around the fourth to the sixth, that's probably Bean's the money spot for him. But that's because that's where he shops. You're gonna get bargains. That's the only place you shop. You're gonna find a deal sooner or later.
I guess my point is this though, right? Like you want to take a look at all of the teams that have won the Super Bowl lately. Seattle's obviously going to kind of be a bit of an anomaly because of just the fact that they've got so many players on cheap deals. They're probably going to be very good again next year too. But, you know, we often like to compare ourselves to the Chiefs, right? With regards to the AFC because the Chiefs won so much, so lately. And I mean, yeah, Mahomes is excellent, but so is Josh, right? 1A, 1B as far as I'm concerned. And the Chiefs' offense is not really that much different than what the Bills have. They've got a better coach, you know, but I mean, how have the Chiefs done it most of these years? Great quarterback, meh offense, great defense, right? And I kind of feel like that's just kind of the model that we're going to have to follow, I think, because you see a lot of these amazing offenses, they don't win. They don't win. Look at all of the teams that were in the playoffs this year. How many of them were amazing offenses? How many of them had spectacular defenses? Almost every team in the AFC, except Jacksonville and us a little bit, was a spectacular defense. Most of the teams, except the Rams in the NFC and Chicago, spectacular defenses. So I think we need to do better on that side of the ball.
Yeah, see, I mean, the only I agree with you to a certain extent. I mean, let's not forget. I mean, this was probably an off year, and the real top quarterbacks who probably more like should have been in the playoffs weren't in the playoffs this year. I don't see Joe Burrow not making some sort of run at the playoffs next year. I don't see Mahomes not making it to the playoffs next year.
Well, we don't know about him if he's even going to play, but
Right, but that's still though when he's on the
yeah,
field, I mean, you
yeah,
can't count him out. So I mean, the
yeah.
real big dogs of the AFC weren't in the race. So I don't know if you can really use. I think this is more of a blip.
Just an anomaly here.
Yeah, it just happens once in a while. It does. I mean, look at. I mean, with the year Baltimore won, it's like they had no offense. They had
Yeah,
no offense, and it was all defense, and they won the Super Bowl that way. Pittsburgh's
yeah.
done it, a couple of times. Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been the, light up the scoreboard type quarterback, but they still won. Just because they've had a pretty good defense. So, yeah, I'm with you. I just think it's kind of a year to year thing. I think right now the teams that played in the playoffs this year had the best quarterbacks in their conferences. That was the difference. Outside
I
of you,
just, yeah, I just think that like at this point with where Josh Allen is in his career, like we're gonna win a bunch of regular season games every year, and I think this team will continue to make the playoffs. Like I have no doubt this team will probably win the division next year, truthfully, because I think the Patriots are going to take a step back playing the schedule that they have to play next year, right?
yeah,
And the Jets are going to be a dumpster fire. Miami's going to be a dumpster fire. So like the Bills will probably win the division next year. We'll get a home playoff game next year with the new stadium. I'm sure the league will slightly fix it too. Um, you know, but with that being said, what is going to get them over the hump in the postseason? Yeah, Josh had a bad game against Denver, but Josh typically doesn't have bad games in the postseason. It is
No.
often the defense that lets us down in the postseason. So I don't know. Go and get a stud. Go and get
Keep in mind,
Hendrickson. Go and get what's his face is go and get somebody. Draft a ton of players. Don't let Hairston get injured in the last frigging game of the season when he doesn't need to be out there.
yeah.
yeah,
They gotta. At this point is make or break for Bean. This is all on him right now. This ship is on his back, and he's saying and he's admitting it to us. The ship is on his back, so he's got to carry us across the water to the island of champions. That's what we want, and you know
How much
we
how much rope, Reese? How much slack is on that rope?
see that's the question. So if you're a fan, it's very short, but I think with Terry, he has quite a bit. Just for giving him that promotion alone told you enough. So I think if you're gonna look at the fans and the media, it's a very short, but it's been short. So this is all about Pagula. I don't think there's. I think it's what he perceives is slack for Bean, and we just don't know. I mean, them giving him a promotion told us enough to say that he's giving him every chance and opportunity. I mean, they would probably not have to make the playoffs next year because then Pagula has no choice but to let him go because he said this
yeah.
week to McD, because he looked at his quarterback in the face and blah, 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 blah. And then they've been going down this path and not winning and getting over the hump. If they don't make the playoffs, that means he would have to fire him because you pulled that lever and said that he's the guy and he's the one that's decided how to get us over the hump. And if he doesn't do it this year, or at least, or I rephrase that, if he doesn't make a deep run into the playoffs, or even better, even get to a Super Bowl, if they miss the playoffs completely, he's fired. He has to be. Pagula he'd be lying to all of us if he didn't. It'd be a lie because you told us that's why you got rid of McDean, and he was part of that whole issue too. And if you get the same result again, you gotta have to move on.
Yeah, I don't think that if they miss the playoffs, I don't think you have any choice but to can him. I mean, you promoted him with the intent of proving that that's what gets you over the hump right there, that he can make these decisions that get you there. And honestly, I think if they don't make the Super Bowl, I think the media and the fan uproar is going to be tremendous.
Well, I got to be honest with you. If they don't at least make it to the AFC Championship game next year, I think the fans are going to be furious at the Joe Brady thing too. I really do. I don't think the fans. I mean, I think I know we opened it with how happy and excited we are about all this, but I'll tell you right now, that's going to go real quick if they're like a wild card exit next year, or they don't make it at all. I think that Beane will likely be gone, but I think people will also be furious at the Joe Brady thing as well because it really will look like, I know this isn't the right word, but it really will look like kind of almost like a not a nepotism thing, but basically like we're just promoting within and whatever, right? So they have to make it at minimum to the AFC Championship game next year. And if they don't, I mean, I think heads need to roll.
Well, I mean, there's no excuse, right? I mean,
No, none.
told us to our faces, this is why you got rid of McD. Same thing should be applying to Beane.
Yep. No. I completely agree. So, I don't know, guys. But everything looks good so far. I know we got the scouting combines coming up. The draft is in a couple of months. We'll probably see some moves before the draft, I would imagine. So let's hope that they bring in some talent. But is there anything you guys wanted to go over further before we close out the show for today?
Well, real quick before we bounce, who's your number one trade pick right now before the draft, if you can pull it off?
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Sean?
You have one? Because I'm still give me a minute to think about it. Put me on the spot here.
I'm gonna be honest with you. My first, Max Crosby is my first pull.
I probably would have said Jefferson, but I really like your guys' points on Crosby and Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. I think I'd rather have one of them. Yeah. Either Crosby or Hendrickson.
The way I'm looking at it is that in the playoffs, if you had Max Crosby in that playoff game, you probably win. You probably win.
I mean, hell, if you had Justin Jefferson in that playoff game, though, too, he makes one of those catches, and you probably win too.
Yeah, but the problem is though, you need your defense to finally stop somebody and shut down.
That's also true.
And Josh has been able to score. It's just that the defense is not being able to stop people in crucial spots. I mean, don't forget about it. I mean, we brought in what was his name? Not Savage. Was it Savage who came in right off the bench and boom, touchdown right over the top of his head? That defense gives up points, and I think that's what messes with Josh. Honestly, I think that's why he presses so much. Is that he can tell us to his blue in his face that he trusts that defense. He didn't trust McDee's defense. I can tell you that right now. Did not trust him. But other than that,
yeah, I agree. So, all right. Well, that is our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we're going to continue to bring you guys live content as the NFL off season kicks off, and we see some moves. And if there's any big activity going on in the NFL or in the Buffalo Bills down at One Bills Drive, we will bring that to you as always. So with that, I am Mike, joined by Mr. T. Reese and Mr. Sean O'Neill. Thank you so much, as always, for all of the support and the content. We do appreciate it, guys. Leave your comments down below. It's we do read and respond to all of them. We appreciate it. And with that, have yourselves a fantastic evening and take care.